Aloha, my topic question is: how does putting a label, such as monsters, to those in active addiction hinder their path to recovery? This is my son Joshua when he was a little boy. All smiles. This is out of Florida Psychiatric Center. Why we need to rethink tough love in addiction recovery. Comprehensive Psychiatric Center, written on April 21st, 2025 at 5:54 p.m. The main argument this author depicts is that by shaming a person deemed an addict can be detrimental to their recovery, just as tough love could be deadly. The author writes a powerful argument that there is a better way to approach addiction by treating it as a medical condition. Tough love may, without intention, cause feelings of worthlessness and shame to intensify. The purpose of this article was for the author to convey that there are better ways to go about helping those in addiction to get clean, that those afflicted with addiction are not social monsters, societal monsters. This is a reliable and trusted center because their methods have been proven to work. So this right here, this is the weight of stigma. You chained to the weight of stigma in a dark room. That's what stigma can do. This was my son being stigmatized even from me. I was an addict. I used meth from when I was 14 years old. I just quit this year, January 2025. So I know stigmatization and all that it can do. And I still did that towards my son. And this is where my son is today, in a cremation box on the dresser in my room. Next article is by Zara Greenbaum. The title is "The Stigma That Undermines Care." Greenbaum writes that this population, addicts, are often seen as lacking a moral compass. Greenbaum's argument is that stigmatization is harmful to those in active addiction. Zara Greenbaum further argues that those who are feeling stigmatized are less likely to seek treatment. The American Psychological Association has been in existence since July of 1892. The stated mission of the APA is to advance the creation, communication, and application of psychological knowledge to benefit society and improve people's lives. This is a credible and reliable source. So again, this is the worst that can happen when someone is feeling stigmatized. Next article, written by Chad Kelly, title: How Does Social Stigma Impact Addiction Recovery, out of Ohio Mental Health and Addiction Services. Written on December 4th, 2024. Kelly's argument is that social stigma hinders paths for an addict's journey towards recovery. He argues that social stigma creates a cycle of exclusion, causing roadblocks, if you will, for those that are on their path towards trying to reclaim their lives. These harmful ideologies cause further damage by increasing the intensity of anxiety, fear, and worthlessness. The Freedom Recovery Center in Ohio has been around since 1977. This is a credible source because of their trusted, personalized, and comprehensive treatment methods, and they address the multifaceted aspects of addiction. Hanley Foundation, title Addiction Treatment, Stigma of Addiction, written on May 18, 2024. Here the author argues that healthcare workers are part of the problem regarding stigma towards someone that is dealing with addiction. The writer further adds that being stigmatized causes an addict to lack healthcare because they end up isolating themselves. Hanley Foundation has been throughout Florida for the past 30 years. They provide substance use prevention techniques and education programs. They believe that ridding of stigma is imperative for removing hurdles to treatment and recovery. So my son was also diagnosed with diabetes when he was about 9 years old. And he did what he needed to take care of himself. He learned right away. We flew up to Oahu, um, and the doctor explained a little bit of diabetes and how we need to watch his diet. And my son totally understand that. He got that. He was on top of his taking his medicine, testing his blood sugars, and then he started using meth around 16 years old. I looked the other way because I was also an addict and I wanted to pretend that it wasn't happening. And then I found out when no, I confronted him when he was a little before he turned 18 years old, and he fought with me. I fought with him, and I would just leave because I didn't want to fight with him. And I stigmatized him, telling him, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Don't you see what can happen? And he was like, really, Mom? Really? Don't you see what can happen? Really, Mom? Because his father also died from meth. And I was using meth. And later my son told me that he saw me smoking it one day when they were little. And I never realized that, but he told me that. Okay, so last article, Maui Recovery, Slaying the Dragon. Confronting and Overcoming Addiction, 2025. The argument the author poses here is when someone is sorted into a negative ideology, they lose their sense of self, who they are. It becomes distorted. This can affect one from prioritizing themselves and causes one to pull away, further changing anything good left of themselves, damaging anything good left of themselves. This was written for society to see how being subjected to a way of thinking towards addicts and addiction is not right. This can lead to an addict not wanting to get help or even leaving treatment. Maui Recovery is a trusted center as they have proven healing methods tailored to one's individual needs. So again, my son stopped taking care of himself. He would not go to the doctor to get the proper care he needed. I wanted to get him help. He was ashamed. He was worried that how people would look at him later because he graduated from Youth Challenge, and he was ashamed. My mom was also one of those who made him feel ashamed, and she didn't mean to, but that's why I say without intention that, in this earlier article, without intention that can happen. You don't realize, society doesn't realize that by putting this shame onto one in addiction, what can happen. So again, this was my son as a little boy, smiling, happy. This was my son in active addiction. And this is where my son is now. But you see this band-aid with this safety pin and this other band-aid on this broken heart. It hurts, but it's okay. My niece Chantel Smith helped me to put this board together. My sister-in-law helped me burn the edges because I'd probably end up burning the whole thing. But they are two people who have not pushed me away. They were supportive and are still supportive of me. And yeah, so one more time, how does putting a label such as monsters to those in active addiction hinder their path to recovery? This is the worst that can happen. Thank you very much.